Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well. So I'm coming to you with my favorite brushes of all time right now. This was actually suggested by a subscriber in the comment section of one of my videos. So shout out to you, boo. Thank you. It's a great idea. So this video is going to list and I'm going to show you all of my favorite brushes. Now, they're mostly face. I only have like 3 eye brushes in this list. And the reason why, I'm not sure. I don't have eye brushes that I see myself reaching for over and over and over. I have a bunch of eye brushes and I can kind of, with my eye brushes, just pick one. They're all pretty good. But I do have a couple favorites here that I'm like, all right, these are staples. And how I thought about this and how I came up with this list was, if I lost all my brushes, which ones would I purchase first? And they're mostly face. There are some face brushes that are go-tos all the time, that I only use another brush if that one is completely dirty. Like that's the situation. They're mostly, again, mostly face brushes, and they are mostly, I have here, let's see, I have 5 Morphe brushes actually, 2 e.l.f. brushes, a Real Techniques, and a Rite Aid brand brush. So they're all affordable, other than I don't own, the most expensive brushes I own might be Real Techniques and Morphe, so alright, so let's go ahead and get into it. And I'll start with the eye brushes since it's only a little bit of those. So the first one is a crease blending brush, and it is by Wet n Wild. And these you can actually get in the dollar store. I know in like Walgreens they might be $1.99 or $2.99. So this is their fluffy blending crease brush. I have a bunch of these, and this is usually the brush that I put my first shade down after I prime my eyes or whatever. This is the first shade that I'll use to place down that crease shade, blow it out, blend it out, that type of thing. This is what I'll use first. It's a little too big to like blend, go back and forth in, but this is that brush that I go to pretty much first. In the beginning of every look, I'm reaching for one of these. And then these I'll reach for sometimes interchangeably with the Wet n Wild brush, but most of the time I use these to blend the next color or to blend out the edges of a look. I just happen to reach for these, and they're both by Sonia Kashuk, and I don't know the names of them because they both have like these special pattern type of things, but I'll show you what they look like. Now I have a big eye, so I can get away with a really big fluffy eye brush. And they're both definitely rounder at the top. They're not so much as tapered off. They're a little bit more domed off. And these two, I have a few of these actually, because I have like 2 sets of this and two sets of this, and I have like 10 of these. And so these are the ones that like blending and fluffiness that I reach for all the time. I have plenty of small detail brushes, plenty of flat shader brushes to pack shadow on. I just don't, not one just stands out where I use a certain one all the time, but these are definitely, I find myself reaching for in the beginning of every look, this brush. I have other fluffier, blendy, crease type brushes, but these are the ones that I reach for. So that is the favorite eye brushes. Nothing too exciting, but that's what they are. All right, and now we're gonna go on to the face brushes. So I'll start with the smaller face brushes first. And when it comes to face brushes, as far as like cream products, I don't really have any favorites except in the category of concealer. What I would use to blend out concealer, place concealer on, that's where the favorites lie. And one foundation brush, but that's about it. The rest are powdered. So these 3 very different but yet very similar brushes from Morphe. I'll go into them one by one. This is the one that I first discovered was a favorite, and this is the M173. And this is a kind of like a mini kabuki type of brush. That, you know, that Sigma made popular, different people made popular, to buff and foundation. This is like a mini version of that. I have 2 of these, and I was using these, oh my god, for like a year and a half after I bought them from IMATS. I bought one from IMATS, or I got it in maybe a Morphe monthly brush box. I don't know, but I fell in love with it, and I went to IMATS and got another one. And so yeah, blending out that foundation gives a nice airbrushed look. The brush is pretty dense, and it gives a nice airbrushed look that's really good for cream concealers. Actually, all three of these brushes I'm about to show you are really good for cream concealers. And the fluffier the brush is, the better it is for like liquids and different things blending out. But I use the heck out of this brush. And so then I had went back to the Morphe booth at another year at IMAX. And just looking at the brushes and everything, and I happened to talking to a girl. I was like, yeah, this is like my favorite brush or whatever. And talking about concealer, and she said, you know what's good too? And she showed me these two, and I picked up both of them, and they have been bomb.com. So the first one is the M335, which is kind of similar to this guy, but it's just a little less dense. It's more fluffy, but still, it still has some density to it. It's a little bit fluffier to really get a nice blend, a nice airbrush blend. One, you're saving a little bit more time because this brush covers more surface area, but then those separated bristles, just slightly more separated than this, allows for a more flawless blend than this one. So there we are. And then the other one is the same situation, except it's a little bit angled here. And this is the M334. So you got the 334 and the 335 here, and this is an angle one, and this one does the exact same thing, blends out beautifully, but it does a lot better getting it, just because of the shape of it, it does a lot better getting into that inner area, down the nose if you wanted to, things like that. And so I really appreciate these. If I am not using a sponge, a beauty blender, or a damp sponge to blend on my concealer, I'm using one of these three brushes, plain and simple. That's where we are with that. All right. So then we can go on to foundation. This brush is by Morphe again, and it's the M439. I really enjoy Morphe's brushes. This video is not sponsored by Morphe. I have no codes. These are the brushes that I like. Just get that out of the way. But anyway, this is the M439, and this is a big, fat, dense kabuki style brush. One thing I will appreciate about Morphe brushes, especially these white tipped ones, that's kind of mostly what I own, they clean very well. So this, I mean, goop in foundation, I use it. Buff in my foundation, I can work really quickly. I love the dome shape. I realize that I like the dome shape foundation kabuki brushes more than the flat top ones. I just think it gives me a better blend, a really nice airbrush type of situation. That's what we like. But anyway, they clean very well. I just washed this one, and they just go back to straight how they look. That white. Yeah, so I really appreciate this. The handle is really fat. It's a really fat, you can grip and really buff in and really like get that blend really nicely, and I can appreciate that. It's not flimsy. It works. I have some cheap like kabuki style brushes from like Amazon and eBay and different things, and yeah, they don't hold up to this one. And one thing I will notice, here's like a cheap eBay one. If you look, this one definitely gives me more bristles. See how they flare out a bit at the base and these go straight up? This gives me more bristles, more surface area, so I can appreciate that from that brush. So that's why I like that one. All right, and then for powder situations, so for contour, this brush is by Real Techniques. This is, I just washed my brushes. This is the contour brush, and this is the best brush to contour with. It's just small, bowl, domed egg shape, if you will. And the bristles are flared out a bit. They still have some density to them, but they definitely have more space in between them. If you look at that, it's like a lollipop type of situation. Really gets into the contour of your cheek, really gets in there when you do your little fishy face. Fits perfectly. This might be kind of big for some people, but then again, I don't know. I have a big face, as I always say. And so this one works really, really well. This is about $5, and this is one that I definitely would get for contour. Definitely. Now, I don't have a favorite highlighter brush, but I do have a favorite brush that I like to set my under eye highlight, my concealer, and that is the e.l.f. blush brush. Now, this is a blush brush, very small for me for a blush brush. I do not use this for blush at all. I use this to set my under eye area with my yellow translucent powders, my banana powders, that type of thing. If I'm not baking, I use this brush to pack on the under eye area, and it works perfectly. It's the perfect size. It's the perfect shape. It comes into a little bit of a point here, if you can see, and it does so well setting all of that makeup. It's made for blush, so powder, but it does really well, and it's the perfect size for me, and I really enjoy it. Now, I have a couple other brushes that like this style, that's a little bit more pointy. They work well too, but for some reason I go back to this brush years and years and years. So clearly it is a favorite. Clearly. And I have multiples of this brush as well. Clearly. Alright, and then we're going to go on to blush. So I have two favorite blush brushes. The first one is from e.l.f. and it is the, I don't know. Because the name is not on the brush. I think it's one of the selfie ready powder brushes, selfie ready complexion brushes. And this is a big brush. It's made for all over the face. I know it's not labeled for blush, but it's made for all over the face. But I love it for blush just because it's big and poofy and soft, and these bristles are spread out like that. And it, look, it sits so well on my cheek. It fits it so well. And I blend my blush out like that. It fits really well, really covers the whole apple of my cheek with one side of the brush. Again, it's soft, it blends well, the bristles feel nice on my skin. I have no complaints about it. I really like this blush for brush. Blush for brush. This brush for blush. Alright, and then the next one, this is an OG brush and I cannot find it anymore. This piece of tape has been holding on to it for years. This is a Rite Aid brush. This is the Rite Aid Renewal line. Rite Aid, I don't know if they carry their brushes anymore. Walgreens just bought Rite Aid, so I highly doubt I'll ever see this brush again. But I don't even know the name of it, but I use it for blush. And it is fluffy and big and soft and angled. This was my only blush brush for years. It still cleans very well. This is the original tape I put on it like 4 years ago. It still cleans very well. Look at that. I washed it. It cleans very well. It is so soft. The bristles are so nice. They're not as dense as the e.l.f. brush or any of the other brushes I necessarily have told you about, but it does so well with a nice natural blush. It really does well. And so I kind of like, because this is, you know, taped, you know. So trying other brushes, I really fell in love with this one, but this is definitely the OG, and I know I can't get it anymore. So if something happened to this brush, we gotta go with that one. We gotta go with it. We gotta go with it. As I put them back as I talk to you. And then finally, my favorite brush, powder. For powder. All over the face. It's actually the most expensive brush I own. Coming in at only like $22, $23. So that shows you where I go with brushes. And it is by Morphe, and it is from the the Chrome line, whatever. And it's the GO brush. So this is what it looks like. It's huge. It's like a microphone. I should sing in it more. It is, you know, like when you're home and you need a microphone. I never grab this brush. Might be my microphone from now on. Anyway, it is a GO brush. It is a full face powder brush. I love this brush. Again, see how nice it cleans? This brush covers my whole face in like 10 seconds. It's so nice. The bristles are various lengths to taper in this bowl shape. Okay, so you have some shorter, longer in the middle, but then tapered back down. It's definitely a round brush. It is round. Does that help me? I don't know if that shape does as much for me as just the fact that it's just massive. It's a massive brush. But with that shape, I'm able to work in circles, if you will. Pat, if you will. Things like that. I think it's soft. It's worth every penny. It does not shed. I've washed it plenty of times. It cleans off very well. Has a really nice weight to it. And yeah, this is a really nice brush. This is my favorite powder brush of all time. And yeah, if something happened to this brush, I definitely will be getting another one because... yeah, bomb. Okay, you guys, so those are my favorite brushes of all time. Favorite makeup brushes of all time. I don't know if it was what you were expecting. I don't know if it was too many. I don't know if it was not enough that you were expecting. But brushes is something that I don't think that hard on, like even in my purchases. You know, I look at it, does it feel good? It's a nice price. Moving on. I like brush sets. I do enjoy those type of things. But yeah, it's not something that I really focus a lot on. So anyway, if you have any questions, comments, concerns about any other products mentioned in the video, feel free to leave it down below. I love you all, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.